Today's video is sponsored by Bandwork. Should I just do another Apple Watch follow-up review, or should I try to do something a little more creative? Hey, it's Chris, and today's an exciting day because I get to be the first person to introduce you to the completely and totally real Apple Watch Pro. Yes, Pro, the first Apple Watch that has a camera. So coming up today, we're gonna hit all the new features, including the new Touch ID embedded under the screen, the new gesture-based selection and media playback features, the all-week battery, and the smart band that's set to debut later this year. But first, let's take just a few seconds to sort of reflect on the Apple Watch Series 5 that came before the Pro, since the two look so similar and most of the upgrades are internal. Now, the Apple Watch continues to be an often imitated but never replicated device. For one thing, the app ecosystem is absolutely unmatched. You're not gonna find notes apps like Drafts or Bear, or Twitter apps like J, or the Reddit client Nano on any other smartwatch platform. And by the way, this is a really good time to hit that subscribe button because I've got another Apple Watch apps video coming up shortly. And the last one got nearly 1 million views, so you know it's gonna be good. But just like the app situation, the Apple Watch's third-party accessory ecosystem is also unmatched. What other smartwatch has an accessory like this charger that lets you plug into your iPad? Or has an option to be charged on a beautiful triple wireless charging dock? Also, what other smartwatch lets you go from 0 to Minio in a mere matter of seconds with no phone in sight? Exactly. And by the time you add in fitness and health tracking, you really start getting the full picture as to why the Apple Watch has been so popular. Has been already so popular. This is before the Pro even debuted. Now, the last update that we got, the Series 5, with this always-on display, was a nice upgrade. It was a nice iteration, but it didn't exactly blow anybody's minds. This update, though, with the Pro model, actually feels like it takes us light years ahead. As we dive into the new features, we might as well start with the one that feels like the biggest game changer, and that's of course the addition of a camera. Now, I've been saying for years that I didn't feel like I could leave the house and leave my phone behind because it was leaving my camera behind too. I could stay connected, I could message, there's an app store now, but without my camera, I felt like sort of a lame duck. Now, the Pro sports a single camera that's a little bit camouflaged on the far end of the watch, and it's positioned there so that you can use the screen to aim and then frame shots up naturally. And what we've got here is a camera that's very similar to what we saw in the iPhone X. It's a 12 megapixel shooter with an f1.8 aperture. Now, you can't shoot videos, at least not yet. Maybe that's coming in a future update, but at least we still get live photo support. And I love being able to deep press into the camera app on the watch and bring up some basic editing tools and a share screen. Now, the auto edit button in particular works just as great as it does on the iPhone. I love it. Now, the camera and the new camera app are absolutely all the reason that you need to upgrade to this new Pro Apple Watch. That being said, there's some other cool stuff we need to hit too, like the brand new Touch ID sensor embedded in the display. Now, here for the last year or so, we've had all the Apple news and rumors sites buzzing that Apple might be bringing back Touch ID with an in-display fingerprint sensor to the iPhone, but it didn't really make sense, that rumor, because we have Face ID. But all the while, it looks like it turns out that Apple's endgame was actually putting Touch ID in the Apple Watch. So, gone is entering a passcode to unlock your Apple Watch. Now it's just a quick fingerprint scan. And as a side benefit, the new Touch ID system here lets you use your finger to authorize purchases on your Mac or on your Apple TV. So is Touch ID on the Apple Watch a game changer? Not really, but is it super convenient? Yeah. And do I miss the passcode in any way, shape, or form? Not at all. What's actually quite a bit cooler though is the brand new gesture functionality, which makes use of the internal sensors to let you control things with the flick of a wrist. And it actually kind of reminds me of a gadget that I reviewed years ago called the Mayo armband, except this is even cooler and a lot more practical. So right now at launch, the new gesture system lets you control two main things: certain screens on your Apple Watch and certain screens on your Apple TV. And possibly in a future update, we'll be able to control some things on the Mac as well. So for instance, let's say that you're on the Now Playing screen on your watch and you want to skip a song. Well, just raise your wrist, and then the always-on display changes from ambient to active, which lets you see the music controls, and then you can tilt or kind of flick your wrist back and forth, forward or back. And then just like that, song skipped, Fast forwarded, rewound, whatever. But what actually feels even a little bit more magical is the ability to just aim your watch at any TV that has an Apple TV box hooked up to it. It intuitively knows which TV you're pointing at, and then be able to control what's on the screen with your gestures. So let's say that you're watching The Mandalorian in the Disney Plus app on the Apple TV, and you want to adjust the volume. Just aim your hand in the direction of the TV in the Apple TV, make a fist for the volume control, and then tilt right or left for volume up or down. Pretty amazing. Now, on the one hand, of course, this all sounds very cool, but on the other hand, in the back of your head, you might be thinking, well, what's the point? Do we really need all this gesture control, or is it just kind of adding extra features to add extra features? Well, I'm glad you asked, because if you think about it, we know that Apple is coming up with some sort of AR device in the near future, like a headset or some glasses, something like that very soon. So, what could be happening here is that Apple is positioning the Apple Watch to be the control device for this new AR world that's about to be unleashed. Now, there's some other interesting stuff that we can talk about and dive into in future videos, like more internal storage for the photo functionality and a faster processor, but I think the last really interesting thing to hit today is the better battery life. Instead of charging every 1 or 2 days, now you can go an entire week on one charge. Why is this so great? Well, think about it. If you're gonna go on a trip and it's a 3-day trip, do you even need to bring your Apple Watch charger now? No, you don't. And by the way, if you go on the trip and you forgot to pack your charger, does it matter? Not really. It's pretty great. Now, of course, this just came out, and we're gonna have to spend some time playing with the gesture control and the new camera and see how that's going to impact that all-week battery. But I will say this, Apple does seem to be listening to customers when it comes to battery life. If you think about the last iPhones, the iPhone 11s, no longer are we just getting thinner for the sake of getting thinner. We actually got improved battery life, significantly improved battery life with the iPhone 11 Pro lineup. And so for the form factor to not get smaller, but still to get more battery life in this same Apple Watch design is pretty great. Now, real quick, I did want to mention the Smart Band that Apple announced when they announced the new Pro, but we don't know much about it. We don't know anything about it, actually, except that it's coming later this year. Although we can look at some patents and kind of get an idea about what might be coming down the road. So, number one, there are rumors that it could be a self-tightening band with some motors inside. Kind of cool, like your self-lacing shoes, I guess, Marty McFly style. And we've also had hints that there could be some kind of indicator, maybe not a full display, but some sort of light or something that could light up depending on what activity you're doing, maybe fitness related, to add more context or give you some information at just a glance. I don't really know. We'll see. I'm excited though. Doesn't the idea of a smart band just sound exciting? If you own an Apple Watch or are buying an Apple Watch, you owe it to yourself to check out our sponsor today, Bandwork. If you're looking for an ultra high quality, handcrafted leather strap, Bandwork has you covered with 4 different collections. The Paris collection with thinner leather, the Berlin collection with Russian calf leather, the Stockholm collection with vintage leather, and the exotic leather Zurich collection. Not to mention the special editions. So Bandwork bands have 2 clasp choices. The Italy Thorn or Butterfly, they can be engraved or hot stamped. And if you look around, they've got waterproof and synthetic options. And by the way, the lugs are gonna perfectly match your Apple Watch variation. This is pretty mind-blowing to me for a watch band, but in order to make each band, Bandwork goes through 172 different steps. Wow. So take my word for it. There are a lot of cheap bands out there, and they break and disappoint. It's happened to me many times. With Bandwork, you are going to be happy. Check them out using the link down in the description. Well, that's it for this video, and just to be 100% clear, the Apple Watch Pro is not a real product. It doesn't actually exist, at least not yet. And I have no inside information or knowledge. This is just a fun experiment, kind of dreaming what could be in the near future based on some recent patent filings and stuff like that. So I am interested though in which of these fake new features you would actually be the most excited for. So leave me a comment down below. And if there's anything that I didn't dream up or that I missed out that you think would be even cooler, then leave that in a comment as well. Don't forget to check out our podcast. It's the Dailytekk After Party. It's linked up down below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Later.